Hey guys, today we are reviewing again. This is packet 3 though, and it is a no calculator packet. Okay, so we want to figure out what the value is of 4/3 plus 5/9, and then we're taking away a -3. Okay, so our first step on this one is to make common denominators. Okay, when we make our common denominators, we need to make the 3 and the 9 the exact same number by finding their multiples. So 3 times 3 gives me 9, so I can make the bottom number into a 9 by multiplying by 3, and the top number, the numerator, into a 6. So I get 6/9 plus 5/9, and that gives me 11/9. And then I bring down my not. Okay, so I'm adding 3 really. So 11/9 becomes 1 and 2/9, plus 3 is 4 and 2/9, and it can't be simplified. Okay, in the next one, Kathleen buys fabric that is 6 2/3 yards long. The cost of the fabric is $2.50 a yard. Okay, just kidding, I think I changed that to $6.99 on your packet. So it's $6.99 a yard. And then that's including the tax. So what is the total cost in dollars of the fabric? Well, I like to break these in apart. So this is actually 2/3 on your packet as well. I apologize. So this is 6 2/3, and I'm multiplying each of these by $6.99. Okay, so when I do that, I get 6 times $6.99. So 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 9 is 54. Add the 5 is 59. 6 times 6 is 36. And then I'm going to add the 5, and I get 41. So 41.94 for 6 times $6.99. Okay, now I've got to take the 2/3 times $6.99. And when I do that, I know that $6.99 is divisible by 3, okay? And that's important because 2/3, we need to figure out proportionally what we can do to get from here to here so we can figure out how much it costs. Well, I'm going to take $6.99 and divide it by 3, okay? So if it was 1/3, it would cost me $2.33 because $6.99 divided by 3 is $2.33. So double that, and it's $4.66, okay, for the 2/3 of a foot. Okay, so I have this, and I have this, and I need to add them together. So 41.94, 41.94 plus my 466, if I add them, I'm going to do it over here because I don't think you could see what I was doing before. This is 0, carry my 1. This is 16, carry my 1. This is 6, so $46.60. Okay, down here they want me to write a number line that shows the solution to the inequality, okay? And the inequality is -2x plus 5 is greater than or equal to -17. So the first step is I take 5 away from both sides, and I'm left with -2x is greater than or equal to a -22. Okay, now what I need to do is divide both sides by a -2. When you do that, you flip the sign. So now it's less than or equal to 11. So I'm going to put an 11 here. And because it's equal to, it's a solid dot. Just like when x equals 11, it's a solid dot. When x equals 11 or anything less than 11, it's a solid dot, and it goes this way. So I'm going to put a 10, a 12, a 9, and a 13 here just to show that I know my number line. Okay, down here I asked you to have it stop on a yellow, and then also what about green and blue? Okay, so the arrow on the spinner is spun. What's the probability of it stopping on yellow? Well, there's 1, 2, 3 that are yellow out of 12 total, so that's 1/4. So the probability of yellow is 1/4. Okay, the probability of green and blue, or excuse me, or blue, green or blue, I guess is the proper term, because it doesn't matter which one you get, you're not getting them both. So green or blue would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6/12 or 1/2. Okay, if we just wanted green, then it's also 1/4. That's why I changed it, because I didn't want you to be looking at the exact same ones. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Get rid of this stuff. Okay, on number 5, they want us to enter the value of the expression. Okay, so we are looking at the inside of the parentheses first, which is 14, and then multiplying it by 4.6, or 4 6/10. So 14 times 4 6/10. You can do it this way, or you can do 4 6/10 times 14. It doesn't matter, but when I'm multiplying, I like to use ones at the bottom for some reason, just because I think it's easier, but you can do it either way. So 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, either way, it's still 24. And then 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Okay, if you did it over here, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. Okay, bring down your 0 for placeholder, get rid of your 2, so you don't get confused. 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 4 is 4. That's why I like to do it. Over here, it would be 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So this is a total of 4 and 4, 8 and 6, make 14, add the 1 over here, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. Same thing over here, it's 4, bring over your 1, and that's 6. So we need a decimal point though, right here, because it's 1 decimal place. So 64 and 4/10. Okay, next one. Enter the value of P so that this is equivalent to this. And our 5 was negative. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to take and multiply by 1/8 because I'm dividing all of these by 8 essentially. So 1/8 times a -5 would be -5/8. And then 1/8 times a -2n would be -2n divided by 8, or a -1/4 n, which is what it gives you up here. So you're multiplying by 1/8. In this one, your answers are A and D, because twice as many students are taking algebra. Algebra is 18, Math 6 is 9. If you double Math 6, you get that one. 20% of the students are taking Math 7. Well, 17 out of 60 is not 20 out of 100. So that's why that one doesn't work. In a group of 30 students, it's expected that 16 are taking math modeling. Well, if 16 out of 60 are taking math modeling, we know that's wrong. What is going on? Well, I don't know what just happened there. I'm having some technical difficulties in this video, so I apologize. But it's A and D, because if we look at this one, the 30 students have 16 taking math modeling? No, because there's 16 taking math modeling out of 60. But if we look at this one, Math 7 has 17 out of 60, which is the same thing as 34 out of 120, so that works. Okay, on the next one, they want us to give an equation that would make this true. So we're trying to figure out what number fits in here, and the number is -2, because 12 times -2 gives me 24. The number that fits in over here is -24. And then the number that fits in over here could be either a -2 times a +12, or a +2 times a -12, or the reverse of those. So 12 times -2 and -12 times +2. Over here, -24 divided by +2, or +24 divided by a -2. Those ones can't be reversed because this is the commutative property. This would make the answer wrong. Okay, let's look at Colby's Hidden Valley question. Colby earns $195 a week for working at Hidden Valley. He receives a 20% raise. So if you multiply by 20%, that's wrong. You have to take his raise and what he already earns, so he would be making 120%. So you are multiplying by 1.2 and by 120 over 100. You are not dividing. And if you were doing this, you'd have to add on the $195 that he gets. And this one is completely wrong because they didn't do the correct setup. The 195 needs to go on the bottom. The 20% would be the number that you're figuring out, and then you would add 195. So if 195 was down here and this was X, and then you added 195, then it would work, but it doesn't. Okay. On this one, we are dividing by 1/9, because if you take 2/3 and you flip it over, you're getting 18/3 or 6. You could also do other fractional numbers as long as it gives you a number that's greater. So you're going to just have to try a couple. Down here, if you would divide by any whole number or a number bigger, you're going to get 2/3 times 1/10, which is 2 over 30, or 1/15, which is smaller than 2/3. So when you divide by a whole number, you get a smaller fraction. When you divide a fraction by a fraction, you usually get a bigger number, but always check your work. Okay, let's look at number 11. Okay, you have a -2.5 and you're adding a half. So you're at -2. This one you're at -3, wrong. This one you're at +3, wrong. This one you're at -2 because you're going back -2.5 and then forward a half, so it works. The other ones are wrong. Okay, number 12, you're simplifying by distributing. A -4 times a -3 is a +12x. You don't need the positive sign. And then a -4 times a -4 is a +16. Okay. Jonah is making 60 gallons of mixing, not making. Wait. He is making it, sorry. He's making 60 gallons of paint by mixing 18 gallons of orange paint with 42 gallons of white paint. What part of every gallon is orange paint? Okay, so we're looking to see what 1 gallon would be. So he's got a total of 60 gallons and 18 of them are white, which is 9 out of 30 or 3 out of 10, which is 30 out of 100. So this right here, all the way up to this line, would be orange paint. Okay, so on this one, we needed to add up all the 31s, the 32s, the 33s, and so on and so forth. When we add all these dots values, which you find down here for city A, we get a total of 488. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 dots. So divide their value by 14 and we get 34.857.86, I believe. Down here we get 504 and we divide those by 14 and we get 36. So the difference between the two is about, and we're going to make this an 86. So we're going to take this 7, we're going to go to the nearest hundredth. We're going to take this 7, the 7 tells the 5 to become an 86. So we're going to round to 34.86. Take this away, and we're left with 1 and 14 hundredths, and those are degrees Fahrenheit. Over here, we're combining our like terms. Negative x and 6.4x gives us 5.4x. 3.5 and take away 6, which in this case, the 6 is negative, so it's a negative. So I'm regrouping and I'm subtracting. I'm left with negative 2.5 is what this n has to be in order for these two to be added together. And that's all I have for you, and I'll see you next time.